What's up, guys? It's Dan Man. Welcome back. Bringing you an easy guide today, nice and quick. It's almost like a cheat sheet. I've really broken this guide down into the most simplest, optimized form so you can just follow along, follow your class, your role. Let's not waste any time. So without further ado, here we go. Alright, so your recommended builds. Healer, you want to focus on barrier, cleanse, and sustain. Those three words are all you need to know this entire raid. DPS, your main focus is interrupt and burst damage. Tank, hold aggro and mitigate damage. There are 3 monsters in this dungeon when you start. The first one that you want to kill is the wolf. The wolf has 3 moves that you need to worry about. Blinding Mist, which requires an interrupt from the DPS, Frenzy's Storm, which requires interrupt from a DPS, and Fire Breathing, which requires barrier from the healer. Major tip, alternate the DPS interrupts. Alright, now the second monster that you want to focus on is the Boar. His primary skill is Meteor Shower, which requires you to break his shield. This is on the DPS. Use your awakening skills, burst this down. He also requires an interrupt from the skill Charge. And lastly, the healer needs to cleanse on this monster from his skill Stomp. And then lastly, we come to the Wyvern boss. Now he shares an identical move with the wolf, Fire Breathing, which requires barrier from the healer. Now his unique attack is Cold Blood. Essentially, once Cold Blood is activated, it's a DPS race because this boss will get stronger and stronger. And lastly, he has Herd, Call, Pounce. This requires the DPS to interrupt. Major tip here, just focus survival and cycle the interrupts. Now again, I'm just going to drive it in. DPS, your main objective, alternate the interrupts and burst during the shield phases. That is your whole job. Tanks. This is all that you should be focusing on. Holding aggro. Make sure you just spam those cooldowns to make sure that your survivability is there and that you're holding aggro. Your core job is to position the bosses to where they're not taking out your team and so that your team has the ability to burn them down. Now healers, listen closely. You need to make sure you use your barrier for the big AoEs. You must focus on cleanse for the tank. Meanwhile, you must manage spikes of damage and keep your team alive. So in summary, you're going to be going for the wolf first, then the boar, and then the wyvern. This is your official cheat sheet. DPS. You want to focus your interrupt on the 2 moves from the wolf, Blinding Mist and Frenzy's Storm. You also want to interrupt on the boar for the ability Charge. And lastly, your interrupt focus on the wyvern is the Herd, Call, Pounce. You guys must alternate those interrupts. There are 4 of them total that you will need to keep rotating throughout the whole dungeon. And lastly, DPS, there's 2 major things that are counting on your damage. The Boar's Meteor Shower, you need to take out that shield as soon as possible. Make sure you use your awakening skill. And as soon as the wyvern triggers Cold Blood, you know that's time to go all in. Tanks, your job hasn't changed. Hold aggro, hold the line, mitigate the damage. Now healers, they aren't going to be able to do it without you. Make sure that you use your barrier on the big AoEs from the wolf and the wyvern from the Fire Breathing skill. You also need to use your cleanse from Stomp from the boar. This will help your tank. Lastly, your job, sustain, keep everyone alive. And there you have it, guys. That is Trial 12. Fully optimized guide, fully optimized cheat sheet, everything you will ever need for Trial 12 right here. I wish you guys the best of luck. Everybody have a great night. Stay blessed. Please like and subscribe if you guys aren't already. Stay tuned for more guides. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.